This is one barter item that number one is renewable, and number two, you can trade with virtually everybody. Hey guys, T2 out here. Welcome back to the Time Preparedness channel. Sunday, I put out a video that was the top 10 barter items according to Survival Dispatch. Now, in this video, I want to go through the most overlooked barter item. I looked at places like Venezuela. I looked at places like Puerto Rico. I looked at shows like The Colony, and I took their advice and saw the things that they needed the most, and I made this video. Picture this. You have a garden outside, and every day you go outside, you pick everything clean off that garden. You get X amount of traded goods for the items that were in your garden. The very next day, that garden refreshes. You would have a renewable source of tradable item. You could take what you needed and go out here and trade the rest for other items that you needed. Then, the very next day, do it all again. Now, as we all know, food production does not work that way. So picture this. It is dark in your house. It is dark in your town, your community. You have no clue when the lights are coming back on. What is the one item you wish you had right now? It's not food. It's not water. It's not alcohol, tobacco, toilet paper, feminine hygiene products. No, it's not none of the top 10 barter items. When your lights and power go off, the one item that you wish you had the most is lights and power. So why are lights and power my most overlooked barter item? Number one, light equals safety. If the power goes out and you're walking around with a candle and you see, oh, there's a toy in the floor, there's an axe in the floor, there's whatever in the floor, the chances of you tripping over that are lower than if you didn't have the candle at all. Number two reason is lights equal security. When something goes bump in the night, you grab your flashlight, you walk downstairs, you try to figure out what that noise was. Is someone break into your house, or did your dog just run into the door? If ammo is such a precious commodity item, you probably want to follow the 4 cardinal safety rules. And one of those rules is knowing your target. If it's pitch black outside and there's absolutely no light, you want to be able to identify your target and, if needed, aim properly and destroy that target. Lights also equal production. The sun sets at 6:30, 7 o'clock until it rises at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. That's 12 hours a day that you can't do nothing unless it's a full moon. Most times it's hot during the middle part of the day. If you've got men out there working in the fields, they're going to fall over from heat cats. If you have them working when it's 30 degrees cooler at night because they have use for headlamps and other flashlights, and that's going to prevent them from being a heat casualty and being out for multiple days. Now, for this list, I looked at Venezuela. If they're lucky, they get 6 hours of power a day, but it's not guaranteed, and it's not necessarily every day. Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, went over a year without power. Most people have flashlights and candles in their home, and a candle like this is going to burn for about 120 hours. 120 hours is 12 days if you burn it for 10 hours a day. And 12 hours is a drop in the bucket when we're talking about 365 days. Another option that a lot of people have are hurricane-style kerosene lanterns. My grandma spent 35 years without power and only had a kerosene lantern lighting up her house. They don't provide a lot of light, and if you don't have the fuel resources available, then what? The only store that sells kerosene in my town only sells it in wintertime. So you might end up in a situation where, cool, you've got a bunch of kerosene lanterns, but you have no fuel for them. From what I've been told about kerosene lanterns, 1 ounce of fuel will burn for about 1 hour. So 1 gallon of fuel, 128 ounces, will get you 128 hours of light. That is only 8 hours more than a jar candle. Now again, people of Puerto Rico went 1 year without power. Your 1 gallon or 5 gallons of kerosene is going to run out. So for my light sources, I'm choosing things that are regenerative. The BioLight sunlight. Every day I can recharge this thing during the daytime when I'm not using it. Now I might get an entire day's worth, or I might only get a couple hours worth of light. On low, this thing will provide light for 40 hours. Now it's about the same amount of light as a kerosene lantern. Now for that 40 hours, that's over 1 quart of kerosene. This is the Sun King Pro. It also has multiple settings. It's got its own solar panel, and when I'm done filling this thing up, I can hook this up to my phone. I can hook it up to a battery charger. I can hook it up to headlamps, flashlights, whatever, and I can use those sources if I need to. This is the NetTech 21-watt solar panel. It is foldable, and it does fold pretty flat. It'll fit inside of a bug-out bag, an inch bag, whatever. I can use energy that I get from here, and I can pass it on to other devices. Again, it's renewable. It's like that garden. Every day I use it, every day it regenerates. Another option is this BioLite Solar Home 620. Another option is this K-Tor hand crank generator. After Hurricane Maria, Red Cross passed out a ton of these devices and of their bigger ones to the island of Puerto Rico. Now I get what you're going to say. Dude, this is hand crank. I would hate having to sit there and generate all my power by a hand crank. But if it's the only power source you've got, son, you're going to be cranking away. Your muscles are going to be huge by the end of the apocalypse. Now, their bigger version of their product comes with this. This device plugs into their power box, and then as you're pedaling away, you're recharging a 12-volt battery. So one of the first items that I would buy would be a 12-watt inverter. If no one has power for a year, like in Puerto Rico, and you're the only person with a inverter, you can go car to car and say, hey, look, I can pull the power from that, but I want X amount of it. I want to be able to recharge my devices. You can recharge yours. I understand a car 12-volt battery is not the best for depleting and then reusing, but use what you got to get through. A small solar panel system like the Harbor Freight 100-watt system. That thing can be set outside, left alone all day, and recharge your battery. Now that battery can be divvied out among your friends, among your family, among your community. Now, if you're the only person on an island with a system like that, you have just become king of the castle. You have an unlimited, renewable source of trade that every day you can deplete that battery by passing it out. And every day you can refill it. How many cans of food can you get to recharge a cell phone or a flashlight or somebody else's 12-volt battery? Power is something that we use every single day, but for some reason, when we're talking about SHTF and grid down, we completely forget about it. If I'm the only guy with power in my community, I could be nice and I can give it away for free, or I can get traded resources that I need that I can use to get other stuff that I need. It is a hugely beneficial barter item that everyone overlooks. The only time we think about power is when the power goes out. Now guys, of course, I recommend having other barter items as well, but this is one barter item that number one is renewable and you can get fresh every single day, and number two, you can trade with virtually everybody. Tobacco and alcohol are only useful for some of those who need it. Gold and silver are only valuable to those people who know what it actually is. This is a tradable item that can benefit everyone in your circle that you trade with. We have so much technology at our fingertips that we can make power in our backyards for a couple $100. We can make power while we're on camping trips or backpacking trips for $50. We can have an unlimited light source for a $20 investment. Now, silver is $30 an ounce. This is a $20 investment and even cheaper if you get it on sale. This provides light for years. That silver is one trade and then it's done. So guys, be thinking of ways that you would light up your house. Be thinking of resources that would go with this system, such as rechargeable batteries, such as an inverter, and that way you're not giving away all of your resources, but you can recharge 4 AA batteries for your neighbor. If you agree that lights and power are the most overlooked barter item, leave it down in the comment section. If you disagree, leave that down too. Tell me what you would replace with it instead. Alright guys, I hope you had a good day. T2 out.